Today we're going to be focusing on two major topics that are up and coming right now. So the first is the new title rule that is going to go into effect on July 27th. So we're going to talk about that and the best practices for that. And then I'm also going to talk to you guys about Alexa AI, which replaced Rufus. So going to talk about how we can optimize our listings to make sure that we are catering towards Alexa AI, because that's definitely going to become more and more important as that continues to grow. And obviously, I think they always use Prime Day to really push those new initiatives. So it's definitely something that is going to be incredibly important to make sure you're on the forefront of at this time. So let's talk about the titles first, since that will require some immediate action to some degree, just because you do have to start drafting these out and all that good stuff. So starting July 27th, Amazon will require a product title in all non-media categories to be 27 characters or less, and that does include spaces. Amazon says the goal is to basically help with the look on mobile. That's really what they're trying to address here, which does make sense. Majority of purchases are happening on the mobile apps, so it does make sense that they are trying to cater to that customer base specifically. In addition to this change, Amazon is also introducing item highlights. From my understanding, this is going to be below the title. So it will be something that is much more visible than the bullet points. Bullet points used to be very visible, but now they're kind of hidden in that drop down. So this is supposed to be a lot more visible. So it's definitely something to take serious, not only from an SEO perspective, but also to make sure you're portraying your product correctly. So this is supposed to provide information such as materials, use cases, comparison-driven product attributes. So to upload the title and the item highlights, you can go through manage inventory, edit, and then view enhancements. And then Amazon will provide AI generate suggestions that follow the new title and item highlights. I would not go with the AI generated titles. The reason we're talking about this today is the hope is that you guys have plenty of time to get ahead of this and apply it to the listings, because I definitely think that's going to be better than whatever Amazon creates for you, right? So after July 27th, titles that are over 75 characters will gradually be updated to Amazon's AI recommendations. Listings will stay active, but you guys as brand owners will have 14 days to review, modify, and approve the AI generated recommendations before they are implemented. So it's one of those things that luckily, like, Amazon's not going to take down your listing or anything like that if you do not make these adjustments, but they are going to just make the change themselves. So you just want to make sure that you are paying attention to that. So here are our best practices just based on what we know so far. I could foresee this changing, just full transparency. Obviously, those of you guys that are on this call here, you're clients of ours. So as changes go through, or there's updates, or we learn more or whatever, we will obviously let you guys know. But this is what we know so far, since it is a brand new thing and not something we've really been able to implement just yet. So audit every ASIN now. So I would take the time to do this now so that it's ready to be plugged in July. Prioritize top selling ASINs, high traffic ASINs, and ad supported ASINs. These are listings, obviously, if your titles are currently longer than 75 characters. Some of you guys, maybe you already have the shorter characters, so maybe this isn't as rushed. But if you do have that longer title, you do need to start shortening it. You want to rewrite the titles to be 75 characters or less. Treat the new titles as the core product identity, not a keyword dump. When I say 75 characters or less, what I mean when less is like 74 characters or 73. You want to get as close as possible to 75 as you can, just because this is still a keyword play. So the more information you can put in the title, obviously, the better. So again, it's sometimes hard to hit 75 on the dot, obviously. So if you're in a situation where you can't, it's okay. Just get as close as you possibly can. You don't need to rewrite it just to add 2 more characters or something like that. Move secondary details into the item highlights. So use item highlights for supporting details. Like I said, materials, use case, compatibility, quantity, key features, or audience. Amazon said this content is searchable and visible in search results and detailed pages. So again, this hasn't been rolled out. So in terms of our knowledge, it's based off of everything Amazon's giving us. So I think this is a good starting point, but definitely be ready to pivot as we start to see how it's looking, and we'll make adjustments accordingly as we see them. So lead with the most important information. A strong title should have the brand, product type, primary keywords, and then key differentiators. Size, quantity, color, or variant when it affects a purchase decision. So only put that in there if you absolutely have to, again, from a purchase decision point of view. Avoid repeating the same keyword multiple times. That's the rule we've always had, but obviously it's more so now that it's only 75 characters. Broader title policy direction is focused on concise, customer-friendly titles rather than repetitive keyword stuffing. And again, I will stress, please do not wait for Amazon to do this for you. I think manually writing the titles gives the brand more control over keyword prioritization, brand tone, and conversion messaging. So I just think ultimately that is the smarter play, is don't let Amazon do it. Don't rely on them to do it. Take it into your own hands. And that's why we're talking about it today. So that's where we're at with the title. And next I want to get into Amazon's Alexa Shopping AI. So Alexa for Shopping is Amazon's new personalized AI shopping assistant. Amazon, it says it brings together Rufus and Alexa Plus into one shopping experience across the Amazon app, the Amazon website, and then also all the Echo devices that one might have. Customers can now ask shopping questions directly in the main Amazon search bar, such as product comparisons, category questions, past order questions, and shopping recommendation. Alexa for Shopping uses Amazon product knowledge, information from across the web, shopping history, preferences, and prior conversations to personalize recommendations for that particular customer. It will help shoppers compare products, build shopping guides, view price history. So actually right now you guys can see the new price history edition. Like, so right now, if you have a deal running for Prime Day, if you click on price history, you can see like the drop for Prime Day, and then we'll see it go back up, it's very interesting. As a customer, I really like it. As someone who we're going to have to be adjusting prices because that happens, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking. It's definitely going to make us all think twice on if we're going to make that pricing change. So very interesting on that front there with those pricing history alerts. So like I said, it'll help it compare the prices. You'll even be able to set up, as a customer, you'll be able to set up price alerts, schedule routine purchases, and reorder essentials. In some cases, shop across other retailers through Amazon's broader shopping tools. So that's what's also kind of interesting, is Amazon's going to bring in other shoppers as well. Now, the major change for brands is shoppers may rely less on traditional keyword search alone and more on conversational prompts. So like examples of that would be best water bottle for hiking, compare these two supplements, or what do I need for a newborn bath routine, right? So like these are some examples. That means listings need to be structured for this, so it can clearly understand the product, use cases, differentiators, customer fit, and comparison points. So it's definitely different, I would say, than Rufus, because Rufus, what we basically were saying is we got to make sure every section of the listing is filled out, which that definitely still reigns true for Alexa Shopping. But this is just a little bit different. It's definitely going to be really storing the history of that customer, right? Which I think is very interesting. I think one thing that's going to be a big benefit for brands is that if you have multiple products and Amazon has that history, I foresee Amazon recommending your products than a competitor, right? If they've got that knowledge. So that's one big positive. And I think also just kind of, if you're on the fence on a second product or you're just not sure or whatever, this would be a reason to do that, because I foresee Amazon saying, okay, like they've already bought from that brand, let's go ahead and recommend another product from them. So again, I think this is structured a lot better than Rufus and going to set not only customers up for success, but you guys as well. So how do we optimize our listings to fit Amazon Alexa now that they've made this shift? So make products easy for AI to understand. That goes with your title, bullets, description, A+ content, and then obviously back-end attributes should all clearly explain what the product is, who it's for, and when and why it should be used. One thing a lot of my brands have been asking me about, and it's something that we've always done, is we've always put for men, for women, for men and women. And I know a lot of the times it's like, well, like that's duh, like it's for both men and women. But at the end of the day, especially right now, we're talking to a computer, right? So little things like that, that I know some of my brands wanted to skip on because they're like, this is common sense. Common sense kind of goes out the window a little bit, right? We need to over explain so that way AI picks up and it solves the problem for the customer. And hopefully they are recommending your product and not a competitor's, right? So use natural language customer intent. So include phrases that match how shoppers ask questions, such as for travel, for sensitive skin, for small spaces, for beginners, or compatible with. What's great, I think, honestly, about these adjustments is this is really nothing new that you guys are hearing, at least from the Turnkey team. We've always said that you can't just list out the ingredients on your supplement and move about your day, right? We need to explain why someone needs that supplement or what they're using it for or whatever the case might be. So if you still follow that why selling structure, you should be hitting these marks, in my opinion. But I'm also going to walk through like, okay, Jenna, this is all great, but like, how do we get ideas on how to make adjustments? I'm going to show you guys that on the next slide. So definitely want to strengthen that first bullet point. The first bullet should really quickly communicate the core benefit and the most important decision-making attributes. You want to build content around use cases. So Alexa for Shopping can create shopping guides and compare products based on customers' needs. So listings should clearly answer, what problem does this solve? Who is it best for? What makes it different? What should it be compared against? What size, material, compatibility, or ingredients, details, all that. That all matters. So again, it's why selling, right? It's something that we have been pushing for years and years and years. Basically, it's just now we can see it on the listing. We can see those why questions, and it's new. And again, I think exciting. I think it's way better than Rufus, in my opinion. So just like Rufus, you want to fill out every relevant product attribute. So that makes sure the category, size, material, color, flavor, age range, compatibility, ingredients, dimensions, count, and other fields are complete and accurate. Again, it's something that's commonly skipped, right? A lot of people will set up the listing and they'll go, okay, well, I'll fill that out another time. But the reality is it's hard to come back to that, right? You might forget, things are more important or whatever, but it's worth circling back and making sure all the relevant attributes are filled out. Now, I will say there are plenty of times in a category that it's a silly attribute where it's like, that has nothing to do with my brand, then don't fill it out. If you don't have to fill it out and it has nothing to do with your brand, don't fill it out, because that'll probably just confuse things a little bit more. Use item highlights strategically. So with the new title limit, item highlights should carry a high value searchable context that no longer fits in the title. So again, this is why we want to be tactful with that change. And that's why we're combining these two topics, because at the end of the day, that item highlight is really going to help push forward this new initiative with Alexa AI. Okay, so I'm sure this little bullet's going to irritate a lot of people, but I do think it's worth just saying. I know that you guys don't have control over reviews, but what it basically shows is like we need to try to have the best reactions and interactions with our customers, because Amazon, and I'm going to show you on the next slide, they're grabbing the reviews and they are making decisions and recommendations from the reviews. So improving your review quality and review themes. Alexa can generate product comparisons, summarize review insights. So consistent positive feedback around specific benefits can help reinforce what that product is known for. Again, I know that's easier said than done. I know reviews are incredibly challenging on Amazon, but it just shows we've got to put our best foot forward. We've got to be providing the best customer service possible when it comes up, because we need to make sure our review quality is even stronger than ever before. Add comparison-friendly content. Make it easy for Alexa to understand how your product differs by including clear details on size, material, use cases, durability, included components, and then the ideal customer. So all in all, we need you guys to think beyond keywords. So traditional Amazon SEO is still important, still relevant, but Alexa AI optimization is about being the clearest, most complete, and most relevant answers to a shopper's questions. So obviously, again, we've been pushing why selling for years and years. I know this is nothing new for those of you on this call. And then for those of you listening back, I know this is something that we have always pushed. But, I think it's really easy to like kind of not panic, but is the why selling? Like, what do I need to point out? And that can be really, really challenging to figure out. I do think with this new edition, it simplifies it a little bit more. So if you guys were to go on your listings right now and you click on Alexa Shopping, you're actually going to see questions about your product on there. Amazon Alexa is generating these from what customers have actually asked about the product. They're grabbing it from your listing content. They're grabbing it from reviews. All of that is being grabbed from there. So what's great about this is we want you guys to go through those questions, and you need to make sure, is that answer in your copy, in your images? Is it there? Because that's more important now than ever. So again, to find this section, you literally go on your listing, click on the Amazon Alexa Shopping AI. That's what we want to click on. So that's kind of the first way we can implement this. Is let's go through the questions on AI. That's kind of step one. Step two is the review summary that I was just talking about on the previous slide. So you guys can see this as well on your listing. So it's right above your reviews, and it'll look something like this. So basically what you want to do is, okay, is that the narrative I want? Does this match up with actually what's going on in my product? And if it's not, we need to shift the narrative, right? We need to address things head on that are being mentioned in what customer says, all of that. We need to address it, because that's going to help Alexa AI really feel this out. Now, as always, whenever we're adjusting copy, I always recommend complete a competitor analysis. Don't make this harder on yourself. Like, let's go see what are the top dogs doing. Now, sometimes if a brand is too big, sometimes their listing is just awful, and it's because they can get away with it because they're like Starbucks or something. So don't do that. We're trying to look for those top dogs that are not something like a Starbucks or Tide or something like that, right? So doing a competitor analysis, let's see, what are they doing? How are they selling the why? How are they talking to the customer? Are they doing a good job at it? And let's replicate it and make it our own, right? There's no reason for you guys to do all this extra work when there's plenty of examples out there to pull from. So make sure you conduct split testing when applicable. So with both of these things, the new title rollout, and then obviously Amazon or Alexa Shopping AI, with both of these things, they're very new. So even us as the experts, they're new to us too. So guess what? We're going to be doing a lot of split testing. We're going to be split testing titles, because this is the first time since I've been here that the title now has to be 75 characters, right? That's really hard to work with. So we're definitely going to be doing a lot of split testing. So I definitely encourage you guys, check your products that are eligible for managed experiments. I would create 275 character titles. Let's split test these. Let's see which ones are converting the best, and probably do it again, because again, this is so new. And obviously I don't know yet what Amazon's going to do, but I wouldn't be shocked if they add item highlights as a split test as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's what they did. And then track results post change closely, so you can pivot accordingly. So obviously, and we've talked about A/B testing a lot on these calls in particular. We don't believe in A, B, C, D, E testing. Like, I know Amazon allows it and sets it up, but the reality is, if we're testing all these multiple things, we're not going to be able to know what made the decision, right? Or what made the change. So you want to make sure that when you are testing these out, let's try to just change one thing at a time as much as we possibly can, just because, for example, the title change doesn't go into play until the end of July. So let's try to adjust to Alexa AI at the start of July, give ourselves a couple weeks to test out some bullet points, test out that format, see how that works. And then obviously you have to make the title change, because that's the rules. So when you roll out these changes, I don't want you to set it and forget it. I want you guys tracking your conversions. How are we doing? How is it progressing? Especially now, these are all really fresh new adjustments. So we just want to make sure that we're on top of it. So that's all I have on those two topics there.